welcome the most naturally gifted player ever to grace the modern game. After 11 months out, he produced 7 breaks over 80, including 3 centuries in his second round win over Ali Carter. 4 times he has lifted the sport's ultimate prize. He is snooker box office, so blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So we're off and running this afternoon. No doubt a large part of Neath has come to a standstill to cheer on Michael White today. His match against Ricky Walden on the red button and online. We'll be keeping a close watch on it as well. But we're off to table 1 in the meantime. Been a quick turnaround for both the defending champion and Stuart Bingham since yesterday. And it is Stephen Hendry and John Parrott who've bagged the best seats in the house for this one today. Afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, Hazel.
Thank you. The first frame.
Afternoon, everybody.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
And the first session of what should be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, as Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off in the first frame, both players finished their second round matches yesterday. And this is what the World Championship's all about in the second week, playing every single day.
Yeah, it's hard to believe the amount of time we've been here already, and it's just getting down to the nitty-gritty now, isn't it? You feel like you're not even halfway up the mountain yet. But this is Stuart Bingham, Stephen, playing today. New territory, I suppose. What's the game plan?
Well, I think he's got to just play the game that he's been playing for the last few months. I've watched a bit of his second round. He looked very impressive in the balls. If he keeps scoring heavily, he's going to put pressure on O'Sullivan. I think if you try and keep Ronnie quiet, try and, you know, take away a bit from your own game, you're going to suffer. You can't keep Ronnie out forever, and that's the first mistake.
Yeah, it's not the great way to settle yourself into a match like this from Stuart there. It was a pretty simple safety shot.
As we said before, uncharted territory for Stuart, and sometimes it's hard not to let the occasion of playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, especially here at the Crucible, get the better of you.
9.
Two reds, 2 blacks.
16. 17.
We've seen Ronnie do the magic 1-4-7 in the last frame of a match. I don't know if I've ever seen him do it in the first frame. You won't be thinking about it yet, but I tell you what, these reds are in a pretty nice position for a big break.
24. 25.
Well, looks like he's got the angle here. Play a screw shot into the pack and keep on the loose red. Well, he's decided just to play on that loose red there. Pack will have to go sooner than later, but
32.
decided it wasn't to be that one. Highest break currently, Neil Robertson 143.
33.
Might take a bit of beating that.
That was a nice shot. May have looked a simple positioner shot, but
40.
struck it beautifully. He'd like to have an angle to go into the pack off this black. It's always better to go into the pack when you've got one loose red. Well, looks a little bit
41.
straight, so he won't be going into the pack off this shot.
Oh, how well did he hit that? Absolutely fluent and smooth.
48.
Right through the ball. A little bit of reverse side. Couldn't play that any better. After two angles,
49.
leaving himself the perfect angle off the black, and this is all about the split now.
He has a red to the right centre, but
56.
bridging over the little bunch of four reds, can he get back for the black? I don't think he's even looking at it. You see the split, just caught the outside red. The pink goes to the left corner, so probably just be playing for the pink here.
$57.
This won't be any maximum, but he knows the value of winning this first frame. Putting down a marker, excellent cue in that from Ronnie. Bridging over that ball, so very important to stamp your authority this early in a match. Let your opponent know that if he makes a mistake, it's going to be severe
63.
punishment.
$64.
There's been question marks over O'Sullivan's long game so far in this World Championship, but in the balls, he looks as good as ever.
Yes, I spoke to Ali Carter last night in the hotel after he'd been defeated by Ronnie, and he was
71.
saying that he thought last night's session all departments were firing on all cylinders, which is pretty ominous for the rest of the field.
72. $79. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 79.
Well, good break of 79. And I don't blame Stuart for coming back to the table here. Have a little bit of practice. Not easy those, just caught the jaw, but Stuart needs to get his hand on the table, knock a few balls in.
One.
Well, if Stuart Bingham had any doubts or anything about which O'Sullivan was going to turn up today, if perhaps Ronnie might be off the boil,
5.
he's been answered in emphatic style so far.
6.
It's been a flawless first frame.
Yes, and isn't he cueing well? Everything looks very natural, very fluent. Joy to watch when he's playing like this.
12. 30. $20. 21.
Control of the cue ball is
26.
just exemplary at the minute. Everything is perfect.
27.
Can't start much better than this.
$34. 36. 39. 43. 48. 54. And first frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So superb from O'Sullivan. Stuart Bingham hasn't really got involved in this match yet. One mistake at the start of the frame, a break of 79, followed by a 54. And Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the opener and leads 1-0.
And you said it, John, one mistake, and wow, what punishment was meted out to him thereafter, Ken.
Ironically, Stephen said, like, you know, just the introduction, he says, like, Stuart needs to get off to a good start, not give Ronnie O'Sullivan too many easy chances. And this was like just a containing safety shot that was completely butchered, and just said, there you go, Ronnie, settle yourself into that match.
And as if to say, I'm the boss, he knocks in a 79 and a 54 just to underline that initial superiority. What part does experience play here today? This is Ronnie's 15th quarter, Stuart's first.
Well, I think it probably does play a part, but I think from my perspective, the most important thing is that Ronnie O'Sullivan, although the fact he'll be nervous, because you would get nervous at the World Championship at the start of every match, once he gets on the table, I think all of a sudden he's got the superiority complex that perhaps I had in my prime and Stephen Hendry had in the 90s, that he doesn't feel like anybody can touch him. And he's playing with that sort of, with that freedom out there. To get off to great starts like that, you are super confident of your own ability when you get on the table. So the problem for Stuart Bingham is, if he's even on the back foot in his thinking process, he's at such a disadvantage.
Okay, you sense that, Steve. Stephen, is that the feeling you get in the commentary box there?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked on the match this morning with Judd Trump, who's another so-called contender for this title, and he just didn't look anything like as relaxed as Sullivan looked around the table, anything like as confident. This red is on to the right corner. I think there's a path around the back of the black to get the cue ball back. That's a nice pot.
One.
Yeah, lovely angle on the blue. There's only one loose red, but I would say the shot is to go into the pink here. He is an attacking player, Stuart. Plays the aggressive shot.
Yeah, it's got to be the right shot, hasn't it? Going in there. But you've got to pot the blue, Stuart. And that
Stuart Bingham 1.
is another mistake. Not settled down yet. You certainly don't want to be giving Ronnie O'Sullivan more chances. He looks in fine fettle.
1.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad for the world number 28, does he?
8.
I don't want to play the 27 or
9.
better than him, that's for sure. If anything, hit that too well, slightly
50.
overscrewed that one. Wanted to leave himself straight on that red. Such was his stroke on the previous shot, came back a little bit too far.
Thanks. 16. 22.
Purposely leaving a low angle here on the black to stun up into the pack. Well, I say stun up. Would you be stunning there, Stephen, or playing a screw shot?
Yeah, there's a red slightly above the black to the left that he'd like to make a contact on. But he's actually hit the first red. That's why he's lost the cue ball. But I think he just possibly left himself a little bit more angle in the black than he wanted there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30.
Well, not the best safety there from Ronnie, but nevertheless Stuart will be coming to the table thinking he's had a reprieve. He hit the ball in the first frame, so Ronnie only got 22 there. And we've got a very interested spectator. That is Maureen, Stuart's mum. It's her birthday today. Come to watch her son play. Must be very excited. And she'll be very happy with that shot as well.
1.
Yeah, that was superbly struck. I don't know if Stuart's got the angle to stun up for a red to the left corner. Maybe slightly straight to play that shot. Maybe able to force the cue ball through for that. And it was a forcing shot. That's a good shot.
Yes, and he's left an angle here. We can pot this and move a few reds around.
8.
Pot this and a little bit of screw off the reds he's going to cannon. Should bring him back to the black. Perfect, but
9.
good split. The cue ball a bit tight to the side rail. Always difficult to judge that shot, I think.
Yeah, it's difficult. You put too much into it. Obviously, the cue ball comes off the cushion, ends up going on the black cushion too far. But he's underhit that one. And it'd be handy if I had a red to the right centre, so he'd just be able to drop this black in. But it doesn't look like anything goes to the right side of the table.
Yeah, he's one good shot away here from having a chance, isn't he? This is far from easy, and what you haven't got to do in this situation is try and force it and get an angle out of the black that isn't there. The main priority above anything is to make sure you knock that black into the pocket. Stay in the driver's seat. But this is not straightforward here for Stuart. And that
Stuart Bingham,
was the problem.
9.
Just try to force a little bit out of the angle there. Hit the near jaw, and on these tournament tables, they won't have it.
Yeah, he could count himself a little bit unlucky there. He had no red to play for to the right side of the table.
And those lovely reds I was talking about are now going to be Mr. O'Sullivan's. So not really settled down yet, Stuart. As you say, I thought he was a little bit
8.
unlucky. A couple of times long red he potted. He just came slightly the wrong angle, managed to force it out.
9.
But as you say, there wasn't much for him to play on there, and he tried to force an angle out of the black. Just got the near jaw, and he's now got to sit and watch.
$16. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Well, that's not the red that Ronnie played for, but I still expected him to pot it. was a slightly more acute angle. He played for the red that was just to the left of that one.
It's funny how many times that happens, isn't it? You've got to change your plan somewhat. You're playing on one red, don't go on the other, and for some reason occasionally lose your concentration. I must confess I didn't see that one coming.
1.
And once again, not a great kiss for Stuart. Just running a little bit awkward at the moment.
It's amazing, isn't it, when you do a good kiss to land on something. 4 or 5 colours there. All in one area, not one pots.
Brown. Stuart Bingham, 1.
Yes, and even where it finished, it was awkward to get second prize, which was a snooker. Well, he's managed to cover the one on the left. Just think this one on the right hand side he can play a little bit of swerve, check side on it. Yeah, well played.
Decent length of the cue ball, but the red that's on the pink spot does pot to the left corner.
Well,
if there's any doubts about Ronnie's long game today, that's his first one he's gone for, and the first one he's potted.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
So, in all sorts of trouble here. 36-point lead. Much was made of Ronnie this year, Stephen, turn up the championship, no matches at all. There's Ronnie's long pot there that goes in the corner, cued beautifully. As I say, there's much made of the fact that he wasn't match sharp, but since his opening round against Marcus Campbell, who I thought actually played really well in that match, it's looked like he's never been away.
No, I think when you're as good as O'Sullivan is, when he announced he was going to play, I believe that a couple of months decent practice and some match practice, which he had at the academy here in Sheffield, it'd be good enough for him to be a real contender in this championship.
Well, we can certainly argue he's fresher than most, isn't he? In fact, fresher than everybody.
Okay, sure. Right. That's a touching ball.
Well played, but sadly for Stuart, touching ball, which is what he didn't want. I'd have been just slightly away from that red. It's actually one that's difficult to play safe off, but the fact it's touching ball makes it so easy. So not really running for Stuart at the moment. Little touches and nicks and flicks here, not going his way. Snookered on this red to the right hand side of it, so can't come off that way and play across it. Basically only one red he can see and clip, if indeed he can. It's really tight. As ever, it's not hitting it, you just don't want to clip it towards the corner pocket. So this has to be right. Well, in
Foul,
fact, he
and a
couldn't
miss.
see it, so he's played
Ronnie O'Sullivan, foot.
cushion first with running side, trying to flick off it. Quite enough swerve on it.
Is that all, Stuart? Yeah, Ronnie, okay. Thank you. Further back.
More referee just moving the cue ball back. Stuart knows exactly where it was before. The players always have a really good idea of that, different when you're down on the shot. So take two, there we go. Close.
Foul, and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, foot. How does that one? Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and that was always the problem. Tried to hit the other one and flick it, but there was a lot of trouble there. Just a red and a colour for Ronnie. 48 points in lead already, so if he can get down on the black,
One.
which he can. Just needs to knock this one in. Looks like he's taken the second frame as well.
Eight. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
Well, that would have been the frame if that had gone in, but 56 behind. Stuart will play on. 51 on the table. Trouble is, two reds on the top cushion don't go, and the other one that's thin in the corner, not so sure. Well, even if you can cut it in, it's got enough written all over it. So nothing particularly appealing here.
Well, at first glance that looked a decent shot, but if Ronnie can get through to this red, Stuart's next shot won't be pleasant.
Well, you can just about sneak through and see this one, but once again, you've got to be careful you don't chip it over the corner. In fact, hit it from behind, trying to get it so thin. Not been easy so far this afternoon for Stuart.
Ronnie showing there is a lot of respect to Stuart. Could easily take this red down the right hand side cushion as a pot, but still keeping it tight, even though Stuart Bingham needs a snooker.
Yes, he's probably looking at the collection of balls up in the balk area. Certainly a big target to snooker behind if you've got the chance of doing it, so don't blame him for having a bit more respect. Such a big target. Obviously this is a red that Stuart can pop, but he's not going to take it on because it's going to take the cue ball away from the black. He needs to get points on the board first before he plays snookers off the last red. You could very well see him play this nice and thin with run inside and back round into that area in the book by Stuart's hand, which is a big target for snookers. But he's decided to go all out and play the drag shot, and he's got it. Well played.
One. Eight. Stuart Bingham, 8.
Yeah, quite a good shot from Stuart there. Covered the red on the right hand side with the black. Only really, he's looking at playing dead weight up to that one, but I'm sure this one's probably the better one. Decision time. He's just looking at it. If he flicks that red off the back cushion, the brown will be in a line with the red that's over the book pocket, but he said he doesn't like that, so up for the one over the corner. Yeah, wasn't easy, that situation.
One.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any difference whether he takes a pink or a black here. Obviously he's going to take the pink, so but it doesn't make a difference to the situation in this frame. As you said earlier, John, the balls are in decent positions for snookers. So this frame not quite over yet.
Seven. Stuart Bingham, 7.
Well, if Ronnie can clip the left-hand side of this red, he's going to be moving the blue. So that'll be one of the making the target slightly smaller for Stuart in terms of laying snookers. That little triangle of green, blue, yellow's in a good situation at the minute, but it won't be there after this shot.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the green's in play as well, so might be able to sneak past that. I think Ronnie was just having a check. One of those shots that doesn't look like you can in the green. But he did, and he's done exactly that, Stephen. He's decided that he didn't like those balls in that position, so let's open them out and make it more difficult for the snookers. That green and blue where they were was a massive target. Well, what a try that was. He nearly got it behind the green. That would have been trouble, especially with the red next to the pink. So he's keeping on going. 41 behind, 35 on. Doesn't really want to remove the red. Free ball situation. Can pot it, of course, but he'd need 2 snookers then, so trying to keep the red in play. This is a good shot as well.
Snooker's never as easy to hit. And the object ball's in the middle of the table. And the swerve's tricky. And this isn't guaranteed to hit this. Good shot.
Only full ball. Yeah, tremendous knowledge of the angles there.
Thanks.
Red's just sneaked behind the yellow there. I don't know whether he can pot this, Ronnie. He's down fairly quick, maybe he can. Big target, if he can, is behind that blue. That's where he'll be trying to get the cue ball at some point. Well, that has worked out all right. I've got to be honest with you, I didn't see that one coming.
Much easier to hit this one with the red closer to the cushion. Well, it should have been. And he's hit the pink.
Stuart Bingham, 6.
So now, Stuart Bingham can in fact tie with a red, black and the colours. So I was a little bit careless by O'Sullivan there.
Yeah, it's just got a little bit too much side on, didn't he? Hits the cushion, widens the angle, goes round the back. I didn't think that was possible from there. Because the only good news is there's no way Stuart can knock this red in and get down for the black, so he's got to be a bit more patient here, play a good safety and wait for a better chance. But at least he's still in the frame. Well, the blue is certainly much more difficult to get behind now for a snooker. Just knocked it on towards the cushion, but we just will give him one chance, Stuart, here. And he won't be getting one because that was a wonderful pot.
Eight. Ten in the frame.
So Stuart Bingham
Ronnie
sits in his chair, and despite all his efforts there, the frame approaching 28 minutes. It's Ronnie O'Sullivan who takes it, and he leads 2-0.
Well, Stuart Bingham scratching his head there, no wonder, because we've been on about Ronnie's long potting, and clearly it's really not up to scratch, obviously,
No,
in
not
that frame at all.
But have a look at this, just tight on the top cushion. Didn't know whether to play a safety shot or not, and just went full-blooded. And these are so difficult, not because they're off the cushion, but they're going across the table as well. But yes, 2 out of 2 for Ronnie. His percentage was right down to 47% yesterday, but 2 out of 2, 100%, not bad.
What's your view, Steve, on what Stuart Bingham has to do to impose himself in this match?
Well, it helps if you don't miss any balls. That's really, really sort of helpful. I think the biggest problem with playing Ronnie O'Sullivan is you actually do go into the match in the wrong frame of mind. You know, because everybody's talking about it, You know, people are sort of like asking him, what are you going to tighten it up? You're not going to give him any chances. And that's not how really you should be going into a match. You should be thinking about your own game and just going in open-minded and seeing how the balls go. So yeah, we're all sitting here discussing how he should approach it. We don't know if he's approaching it any different to any other match. But of course, when you're out there and you know that the guy who's going to be playing the next shot is fully capable of blasting you off the table, you're not in a secure frame of mind. So therein lies the problem. And I think if you get off to that bad start, then you start to think, oh no, yeah, the floodgates could open. And once again, that's not what you ought to be thinking at 2-0 down. You ought to be thinking, right, I want to win the next frame. But Stuart Bingham has had enough match play of recent years that he shouldn't be thinking that way. We're just assuming that that's how he's thinking.
Indeed, and as you say, Steve, he's had a brilliant season, really. He's won 2 smaller events, he's been in 2 world ranking finals, he's the Premier League champion. I mean, things couldn't have gone too much better for him, obviously, this season, and he's up to world number 8, so he should be a match for anyone as we head back into frame 3.
Yes, thank you, Hazel, but as ever, you don't settle down in a match till you win that first frame, and this is a big shot, 2-0 down. Well played.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with his long putting. I think that's 3 or 4 tremendous long balls Stuart's potted in this match so far. As you say, there was pressure on this. There, look at that for long pot success for both players. That's quite impressive.
Stuart
Keep that going through the whole match. That'd be good, John.
Yeah, it's 2 out of 2 for Ronnie and 5 out of 5 for Stuart, so some going that. Just hasn't quite got, when he's knocked a good ball and just gone a little bit awkward for a colour, so it's difficult when you're playing O'Sullivan. You just feel as if you've got to score off every chance you get, and so much pressure on you, and then your safety gets more pressure on because you don't want to leave him anything. He just takes some beating. Be a little careful with this one, just trying to drop into the side of the pack. You run off the bottom one, it's no good. Well, he certainly run off it. There's one in the centre pocket that pots. Slightly awkward queuing, I think, for Stuart, but it's a chance.
Well,
And this red was absolutely dead straight, which meant Stuart couldn't get past the blue. Obviously wanted to miss the green, but where's the blue spotting? And where's the green gone?
6.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, you could be there a month, someone to play that shot, and it'd never happen. Incredible. As I say, it's just not going for him at the moment.
Stuart Bingham, 6.
Well, maybe Stuart's turn to have a little bit of good fortune there. Got the dreaded double kiss and famous safety shot.
Yes, if he'd been carrying on the way it's gone this afternoon, he'd be changing his name from Ball Run, that's for sure. Another long pot. Finally missed one.
Foul.
And he's knocked the yellow in.
Ronnie
Anything else going to
4.
happen for Stuart here? Okay, missed the red by a long way here, but it's gone straight up, Perfect angle and potted the yellow.
Ronnie's obviously going to pot the yellow here, but he's already looking at the pack and looking at the reds down this end of the table, even though he's playing for the red in bulk. Already planning ahead.
Yeah, this is a good chance, isn't it?
3.
5 reds at the top. You can see they're going to be available, certainly when
4.
he starts linking them together. Pots one, removes the other. It's turned into a decent chance, this.
Didn't go into the reds there, purely because he would have probably blocked the black up.
Ten.
I mean, even that little stunt shot there, not a
17.
chance of him going behind the other red with the cue ball there. Perfect position. Such a good touch.
18.
All the time leaving the perfect angle to get onto the next loose red. Certainly makes it look easy.
25. 26. $33. 34.
Be going into the bunch here. Top spin of the black cushion. Well, in fact, he's going to play the pink to the left centre, which will open up another red to the left corner. I don't know if the pink will go in its own spot. I would presume not if he's played it there. No, it does. Does this red still
40.
pot to the left of the pink? To the left corner? I don't know, but he's on the red to the right corner.
And he changed his mind a few times there,
41.
down on the shot. He put the cue to the white there and went higher up the cue ball and down again. Decided to go back up for blue. This goes right. Should be fine. I think he can get to that red past the black.
46. $47.
A little bit further than he intended there. So to be on the yellow to come back down for the reds, but slightly thinner shot required on the brown. One good positional shot away here.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you're in Stuart's position here in the seat, sometimes you're playing other
51.
players and you think, oh, they're going to go out of position, I might get a chance. That never happens with Sullivan. He's absolutely perfect in every shot.
52.
It's difficult to play any better than this.
59.
He is on a string. Hitting it so well, and we can see the work on the cue ball is, well, almost too good at times. He's hitting it that well. And the thing is how quickly does he score? No time at all.
66.
Yeah, the speed comes from the fact he's in perfect position every shot.
67.
As soon as you got a position, you've got to walk around the table 2 or 3 times, change your mind what you're doing on the shot. But when you're in perfect position every shot, it's automatic. You don't have to waste any time looking at anything
74.
else.
75.
Beautiful touch. It goes to 81, chips the red over the middle.
82.
Ronnie O'Sullivan's had 4 centuries so far in this year's World Championship.
84. 86.
Yes, and in this form, I don't think he's finished there by a long stretch.
89.
33 in total this year's championship so far. And how well has he hit the ball here? Phone the police, he's lost
93.
position. Just a little exhibition shot round the angles. Oh, he played to perfection. Absolutely fabulous century from Ronnie O'Sullivan. There it goes, break of 111, and quite simply, you cannot play better than that. Stuart Bingham just had to sit and watch O'Sullivan with a break of 111, and he races into a 3-0 lead.
Keep the noise down, please.
It'd have to be out and centre for me. Just his determination, and to be the best he could be, really. You know, he just loved racing. It didn't matter whether it was winning world championships or it was just competing in karting. So I identified with that because my best times was probably as an amateur, as a snooker player. Fantastic sportsman, loved his sport. You know, who for me was just everything you'd want to be in a man.
Well, he's certainly motoring today, that's for sure. Absolutely fantastic performance. 79, 54, 30 in the second frame, but 111 there. And well, Stuart Bingham's just not involved, Stephen.
Thank you, frame 4.
Although this match is first to 13, best to 25, the alarm bells are ringing already for Stuart Bingham. Because although Ronnie's obviously, well, in my opinion, the best player in the world, he's an unbelievable front runner. He never takes his foot off the gas.
Now, his pot success is only a mere 97% at the moment. He'll have to up that. And his long pot success is 100%. Wow. Tough to play against. As I mentioned in an earlier frame, put so much more pressure on your safety shots when you know your opponent's playing as well as Ronnie is. You've got to get them right, and he has. That's an excellent shot from Stuart there. Well played. Well, certainly not hanging about today, Ronnie, that's for sure. Average shot time 15 seconds, which only reiterates what you said, Stephen, about him being in perfect position. Just looking here whether he's left this red sticking out for Stuart to have a cutback. He had. Good shot.
1. 6.
Yeah, Stuart's just got to trust his technique. He knows he's playing well. It's easier said than done, obviously, when your opponent's clearing the table every time you make a mistake. But somehow you just got to think to yourself, I am playing well.
$11.
But looking to leave himself a nice angle in the blue here, so he can try and open the bunch.
12.
Not quite made it. He has to play for the loose red. Can choose to play it off 2 cushions if he wanted, followed through the cue ball. The left hand side cushion and the black cushion into the pack, but I think he'll play for the open red.
Yeah, a little shake of the head there. I don't think he's screwed back far enough off the blue there.
$18.
Played that reasonably well. Just got past the black. The bottom red pots, he'll just be playing a little drop in there. And this should move a few reds around. Just needs good position off this.
25. $26.
So then falling through another 2 or 3 inches to make this black more comfortable. Recovered well. That was nice to strip that shot. Perfect for the red to the left corner.
33.
He'd like to leave himself an angle in the black here so he can perhaps go into the reds, and he'll always have that red over the right corner.
34.
Yes, that's the way to make breaks, isn't it? Leave yourself that insurance policy of a red over the corner. If you don't land on one, you make a split. Which is what he's done, tried to move a few reds out. Always knew he had that red there.
41.
Would have preferred a couple more to have come out there, but still good. And he's doing really well here, Stuart. He's been under a barrage this afternoon. He's taken these very well so far. Showing good character.
$42.
Well, he looked to see if the 2 reds that are to the left of the pack would pot to the right corner, but I don't think he can play for them from this angle in the black. I think he's going to have to play some sort of cannon. I don't think he can cannon the red that's next to the pink full ball. That would leave a choice of 2 to the left corner. Well, in fact, he was just able to squeeze past. So this is turning into a good opportunity here for Stuart to get his first frame on the board.
49.
Yes, if we can win this frame in one visit, it'll really settle him down. Make him feel better as he goes into the mid-session interval.
50.
Not perfect on this black. Slightly off centre. So he needs another good positional shot here.
Yeah, it would make things easier if both of these open reds pot to the left corner. He's now looking at the pink to the right centre. But I was going to suggest following the black through of 2 cushions, the cue ball of 2 cushions, but taking the pink on. If the pink's straight, I don't really see this as an ideal way of getting good on the next red. Perhaps he's just screwing back for a red to the same pocket. See from that angle, he's got a slight angle in the pink to maybe nudge the red to the left of it.
Stuart Bingham, 50.
Yeah, he never really settled down there. I think somebody was moving behind the shot initially, and he never really got comfortable there and had the cue ball cleaned, and there was something going on. Never really settled with it. I think it's good news is I don't think he's left anything, which is particularly good when you consider the ball came back and moved the reds about. Cue ball just grazed past the brown there, made such a difference. If it had flicked it, it would have been an easy safety shot for Stuart, but all the time Ronnie trying to keep the pressure on, and there's no insurance policy on any of the side cushions for Stuart Bingham here. He hasn't got a green safe or a yellow safe. This is danger time for Stuart, because this board is ripe for a counter clearance.
I was just thinking that, John. Well, he's got a 50-point lead. This frame is still anybody's.
He didn't play the pot there, just tried to get the cue ball up to the top rail. Certainly hasn't left anything easy here.
To the right corner, and there's a path behind the black, but you don't want to catch this thick. If you miss it thin, which he has done. So the cue ball's okay.
Yeah, the cue ball just got the last flick on the brown there, which has left a possible pot for Ronnie. Just going to go past it, and it wouldn't have been available, this red. His long game's been fantastic so far today. Let's see if he maintains it. You betcha. That's a pot that was.
1.
And he's actually played at a pace where he was hoping the cue ball to come in and out of balk there. Such a positive shot. Right in the middle. So it looks like the only weakness that we thought Ronnie had this week is gone.
Yeah, just maintaining the 100% at the moment. Fantastic. If anything, he's a bit unlucky where he's finished. Awkward to get the snooker. If he's trying to drop on the yellow here, these are tough. Well,
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
for mere mortals, that's as good as you can play it from there. I'm never really a big fan of that shot when I was playing it, Stephen, because you're right down the slate line there as well. The cue ball can roll off sometimes, but he's played that so well.
Yeah, no, I always like to play these with topspin. He actually drags them, which obviously you have to have touch and nerves of steel.
Well, Stuart's got to get into solution mode here. How's he going to get out of this one? But very difficult to rest on any reds. Centre of the table, one on the left-hand side. You can't really play on that because you'll leave one in the centre. So swerving it with a bit of side, trying to come round and, well, go through the middle of everything. And that
Foul. The miss.
is big trouble for
Ronnie
Stuart.
O'Sullivan 4.
So we said earlier in the frame that this was ripe for a counter clearance, and Stuart Bingham's attempt just grazes all the reds. Can Ronnie O'Sullivan pinch this frame?
One.
Once again, another example of how well he got through the ball there. Overscrewed her.
Slightly hampered by the red
6.
in the cushion here. Makes this red a little bit more awkward to right centre.
7.
Not quite gone past the blues, so we have to go in and out of bulk here.
And if there's anyone who gets as much work on the cue ball as this gentleman, I want to know who it is. Watch the way he hits this.
12.
It's just absolutely beautiful. We'll show you again in a minute how he got round the angles there. Watch the cue through the ball. It's absolutely fantastic.
13.
There we are. We'll show you this. Look at that. The cue goes right up in the air. He's got that much topspin. He's hitting up on the white. Right round the angles. Beautifully played. So it would appear that Stuart's only hope is that red on the left-hand side cushion.
18.
Don't see these next two being a problem.
19.
And in fairness, the way he's played today, I don't see the other red being a problem really, but we'll see.
No, when you consider how well he can play
26.
left-handed, that red's not a problem at all.
27.
Well, just pinpoint. Could not hit that any
34.
better. And beautifully
35.
cued. Went purposely down the table to try and get on green and brown there to make it easy to get on the yellow. So just the 10 points behind. Just a bit of control required from blue to yellow. Perfect.
40.
This will really hurt Stuart. In early. Break of 50. Missed the pink in the
42.
centre. A couple of shots later he snookered, and it was one of those tables that looked like if Ronnie got in he was going to do some
45.
damage. And that's looking like exactly what it is.
49. 54.
The rocket is on fire. Absolutely brilliant.
16
Ronnie
in the frame.
O'Sullivan in
Ronnie
fantastic
O'Sullivan.
form. Stuart Bingham early in that frame made a break of 50, but it's O'Sullivan who replies with 60, and he leads at the mid-session interval by 4 frames to 0. Thanks to the boys in the Winter Garden there. Well, at least Stuart Bingham's manager's maintaining a good sense of humour. Just seen him on the way in, and he said, "We've got him right where we want him." He doesn't know it's a master plan. Very funny. Already, after that break off, he's got a shot and he's under pressure with it. Red on the left-hand side is covered by the brown. Yep, there you go. First shot he had at the table after the mid-session interval. It was a horror. To make sure he got the cue ball back there. That red on the right-hand side was looming large. And that's exactly what he's hit.
One.
And you mentioned it earlier in commentary, Stephen. Never been many better front runners than this fella.
No, I was just about to say that sometimes the mid-session interval can take away a little bit of the edge off your focus and your concentration. I'd be surprised if that's the case here, but no, when Ronnie gets in front, he never takes his foot off the gas. Some top players you can almost visibly see they're not concentrating as hard as they were at the start of the match.
5.
Purposely playing for the red that's closest to the black here.
10.
Open the black up obviously to both corners. Or has he gone a little bit too far?
$11.
Well, that was possibly the first positional shot that he's played that's gone wrong in this match so far. But rescued the situation on a nice pot to the left middle.
Played into an area there, leaving
15.
himself option of 2 reds, 1 in the centre or 1 in the corner. And fairly quickly, he'll be
16.
thinking he'd be trying to get on that red that's close to the black. Just to get out of the way. Well, that's what he's played on.
21.
Looks like it's perfect. It's just so good, it really
22.
is. Absolutely to the inch, that was.
29.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're commentating, you don't like to say it's a frame-winning chance too early, do you? But the way Ronnie's playing today, as soon as he gets in a frame, it looks like a frame-winning chance. Has he lost the cue ball there?
Yeah, it was a funny pack that way. They were going to split, and he tried to play a controlled break of the reds. Just off coming through that gap for one of those 2 reds, so it looks like end of break. Didn't quite come out that. Always chancing a little bit to luck. A little bit on the thin side probably, but one of those things, if you'd have landed on a red there, I'm pretty certain they were all going.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 37.
So a break of 37. It would have been a lot more if it had landed on a red there.
Has left Stuart Bingham a chance of a red to the right corner. And once again, if you're going to miss it thin.
As opposed to thick. Red that's nearest to the cue ball is very tricky for Ronnie to pot, but there is one into the top corner, and I think he can cue it all right. This is very ominous for Stuart Bingham at the minute. awkward position there. Ronnie's just trying to get his foot in. Obviously, you've got to play the shot with one foot touching the floor. You can't take your foot off. That would be a foul shot if he did that. But managed to cue it. Well, yes, he took his shoe off there to play that shot.
Yeah, obviously we felt that bouncing on his toes, didn't want to slip.
Only to perfection yet again. This really has been a masterclass in cue ball control today. I can't tell you how hard this game is, and I can't tell you how easy he makes it look. And I mean this with the greatest respect to the rest of the players in the field, but when he plays properly, he's just a different level to everybody.
$40. 15. 22. 23.
So already 65 ahead, 67 remaining. Just this red into the corner, which
28.
I couldn't see him missing in the month of Sundays the way he's hitting it. And that's another frame gone for Stuart
29.
Bingham. And whilst you sit in that chair and you keep looking at that scoreboard and you've got nil next to your name, this is a horrible place to be.
34.
Yeah, and I keep hearing about how the standards are going up amongst the top players. Well,
35.
there's been a different winner of every ranking tournament this year. But if this guy was playing, that wouldn't be the case. He plays snooker that
42.
no other top player can get close to, I'm afraid.
43.
And can any of the other top players step up to the plate? I think that was what Ronnie said at the beginning of the championship. Is there anyone out there that wants to take up the mantle?
50.
Well,
51.
it's like shelling peas. It really is. Doesn't matter what shot it is. All in the centre of the pocket. And this is extremely ominous for the entire tournament, because if he keeps
54.
playing like this, he's already won.
55. 60.
Nigel, we'll probably be criticised for
62.
going on about it so much, but you know, it's up to other players to show how angry they are, and as I said, step up to the plate. But this is, you just can't get snooker played any better than this at the moment.
65. 69. 74.
Well, absolute class. This is as good as it gets,
8.
folks. Enjoy it. You're watching something very special. It's just wonderful to watch. Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks a 37 and 87, races into a 5-0 lead. Snooker from the gods. Well, Stephen, we've said that there's pressure on the opponent, Stuart Bingham, and right from the start of this frame, Ronnie's break-off put him right in
Yeah, he's in a horrible situation. As we see the break off here by Sullivan, always breaks off left-handed. Feels he can get more action on the cue ball. And it's a horrible situation here for Stuart Bingham.
Of course, Stuart tries to play the reply, and it's funny that there's only a single red on the right-hand side, but as I've mentioned before in commentary, that looks the size of a football, doesn't it, when you're playing that safety shot and you're 4-0 down to the best player in the world.
Well, you're just out of a comfort zone now. Stuart Bingham this season has been one of the game's most consistent performers. But at the moment, he's been made to look silly. And he's staring down
Thank you. Frame 6.
an 8-0 first session
Stuart Bingham
defeat,
to break.
unless he can do something special.
Yes, I think he's going to have to do something special and need a bit of help from his opponent, which doesn't look like coming at the moment. He really is focused. Pot success 98%. His long pot success is just ridiculously 100%. And if you want to throw in the rest success as well, is also 100%. That is serious to play against. Nice little shake of the head. He's actually missed a long ball there. But as is usually the case when you're struggling to get your first frame on the board, when you come to the table it's either awkward or there's something to be done. So Stuart played a good safety there.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham 4.
Yes, I missed the reds there, but not so sure I'd want to put him back into bat here. Big area down the table with blue and yellow, so I think Stuart's doing the right thing here. And a very positive attacking safety shot. Knew he was opening the reds up, but still thought it was the right shot to play. And he's played it very well.
Yeah, that was the right shot. It was a good shot by Stuart Bingham. It's always a risk when you open the reds up. Sometimes push one over a corner pocket, but he's got to try and put pressure on Ronnie Sullivan somehow.
Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham 4.
Stuart's had a little look just to see if that red was any good into the middle pocket, but obviously feels it's not for him. So Ronnie's had a bit of a sighter with the first one. Expect him to get closer with this if he plays the same shot.
Is that okay, Stuart? Thanks. Foul and a miss. Stuart Bingham 4.
He won't be putting this one back, I don't think. Cut into the corner. Can't always be sure where the cue ball's going to end up here.
Well, it's just horrible when you're out there in a match like this. You're 5-0 down. Every chance you get, you can see problems. He'd just love to have a chance with an automatic position on the black there. Just wants to put a frame on the board now, Stuart Bingham.
Yes, I've certainly been there in my career out in this great venue where someone's been playing and running away. Had it in the World Final with Steve, of course, and whilst it's the greatest venue to play in, it's also the worst when you're getting no table time and your opponent is playing supremely well. Not much you can do at the moment. Sometimes you just have to take your hat off and say well done.
Eight.
And as all great players do, Ronnie seems to be getting better as the tournament goes on. You never
50.
play your best in the first round, you just get that result out of the way. It's about playing your best snooker in the second week, not the first.
$16.
Already at the point where he's going to at least have a lead going into the second session.
22.
Because he's got to 5 frames.
23.
He's only playing 8 frames this afternoon. But how big is his lead going to be? Ronnie will be disappointed if he doesn't win all 8 frames this afternoon the way he's playing.
30. 31.
Hit that beautifully, but unfortunately the flick on the black just stopped the position he was after. Powered the pink through the reds. Lots of screw back. Slightly thinner this one. Just
38.
well, quite frankly, this is ridiculous. It looks that easy at the minute.
$43. 44.
The touch, control, everything about it, so fluent, so natural. It really is very special.
50. 51. 57. 58. 64.
He is truly
65.
in the zone at the minute. Every shot is perfect. Everything is hit with precision. You simply can't play snooker better than this.
72. 73. 80. 81.
'Just flick the pink in. Obviously left an angle here. Pot the red. Flick the other red out if he wants.
87.
quite get the cannon there.
88.
This has just been absolutely superb. So Pink takes it to 99. Looks like another century for Ronnie O'Sullivan coming up. If he can just drop this one in.
99.
This will be his 6th century if it goes in. If it goes in, then that's all about. Straight in the centre of the pocket. Absolutely magnificent. It really is.
106.
Well, I don't know what the people have played for the ticket this afternoon at the Crucible, but they should be paying double.
Yeah, I suppose the only thing missing from this performance would be a maximum.
$115. 120.
Someone shouted brilliant.
26.
They're not wrong. An absolute masterclass in how to control a cue ball. You can't play better than that. Ronnie O'Sullivan, break of 133. Stuart Bingham can only sit and watch. It's absolutely magnificent from O'Sullivan. He races into a 6-0 lead.
He is totally relentless, and this is the 31st century of this year's Betfair World Championship. Has just been slotted by Ronnie, and as John said, the 6th of his own personal campaign. Relentless, Steve, so far. How would you describe the kind of form that he's showing here this afternoon?
Well, I mean, he's obviously showing that he's head and shoulders above anybody else in the game on this level. And just to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, let's say he goes on to win this event and then doesn't turn up for the rest of next season. That's a fascinating prospect for the game of snooker as to whether it would do any good for it.
Indeed.
Because, yeah, there's a possibility that could happen. And,
well,
yeah.
he has said that his plan would be to come back and play more regularly next season. But, as you say, all things are possible with the great Ronnie O'Sullivan. Can you describe the feeling of panic that one feels at 4-5 and 6-0 behind from Stuart's perspective?
When you're playing against someone who's playing sublime snooker that O'Sullivan is, it's just very, very difficult. And when you have sort of half shots, and he has this difficult shot, he's screwing into another red. Now, normally, every day he's like, pot this 100 times out of 100 almost, but everything is coming a little bit awkward. You start to hit the ball a little bit harder, you start to think a little bit more about each shot. And he's putting pressure on not only his pots, but his safety as well. And, you know, it's looking ominous for Stuart Bingham. He really needs to get off the mark and try and salvage something from this session, because if he doesn't in these next couple of frames, as Steve said earlier, the match is already over. You know?
Okay, back we go.
Well, just join us as Ronnie O'Sullivan actually makes a bad mistake. Hit the blue off the break off. Don't go in, black. Yeah, good opportunity now for Stuart Bingham. Can he make the most of this? I don't know if the black will pot. Still in the left corner once it's respotted.
8.
Well, that shot tells you that obviously the black does pot, but he's even a shot like that, he's followed that cue ball through probably 3 inches more than he intended. Good recovery.
$16. 17.
Do wonders for him if he could just win this frame in one visit. huge ask when you've seen the way O'Sullivan's played this afternoon. Stuart himself is having certainly the best season of his career. A couple of the smaller PTC events he's managed to
24.
win. Championship League. Final of the Welsh Open.
25.
So he certainly turned into a right good player himself, but he won't have faced many a barrage like this afternoon.
Stuart Bingham, 25.
And he's just, well, a little out of sorts.
Yeah, the shot previous was the bad one, to leave himself so low in the black. But it's easy from up here. He's in a horrible situation.
One.
Looks a simple little positional shot. It's perfect on the pink into the centre. You would think one little cannon here could open this frame right up.
Yes, aside from a few other things that are different, when he makes a break, first thing he's doing is getting those reds out in the open. There's no messing about. It's a proper shot played in there. Reds are spread around. He's not one for picking them off all the time. He gives himself the best options. Dare I say it, like you, my old mate. Used to do the same thing when you made the breaks. Into that pack, get them open.
8.
Give yourself more options to make the break. Just makes it more simple.
Now, how many shots will he have to play before he can get the pink and black into the open? Because at the moment it's awkward. Pink only pots the left corner. Black's inside cushion, blue's out of commission.
Eleven. $14. 50.
Slightly surprised he didn't play for the black there. I'm going to go back up for a bolt colour. It gets so much work on the cue ball, doesn't it? He times it so well that these are not really difficult shots for him to go up and down the table.
He's just one sort of positional shot away from having these in really good position
8.
at the minute, because ideally you'd like to be able to get on that pink, and that's exactly what he's done. Played on the red,
19.
now he's on it. So after all those shots up into the baulk area, he's got them where he wants them, which has been basically what he's been doing all afternoon.
25.
Just come a little off his intended position there, so may have to go back up into the baulk area.
26.
Wiped its feet, but in it went. And he takes the yellow and screws down this right hand side of the table, and the reds are sort of lined up with each other, so he's obviously trying to just come for the bottom one. Slightly overscrewed that
28.
one, but keeps the break going.
$29.
Well, not as intended, but looks pretty good on the green. few shots has just been slightly out of position.
32.
What you would give to be able to play as well with your left hand. Obviously not as well as he plays with the right hand, but to have this talent as well in your locker.
It doesn't seem fair, does it, to have that much talent and be able to use your left hand that well.
Let's
keep reiterating, but when you're playing as well as O'Sullivan's playing here, it is just a joy to watch. This has been some break.
44.
Every time
45.
Stuart makes a mistake, he has to sit and watch. Got 25, black off the spot, and he's just been sitting there admiring, well, wonderful cue ball control, and someone who is the
51.
best playing at his best.
52.
So just this pink should be playing position on the yellow anyway, because it's a natural. Up the table, and that's 7-0 in perfect position.
60.
What can you do, Stephen?
Well, Stuart's just glad they don't play the whole match today, because in this
63.
form it'd be 13-0.
67. 72.
Yep, he's even speeding up now as well. Absolutely phenomenal play once again. Stuart Bingham in early, break of 25, misses the black off the spot, sits in the chair for the rest of the frame. O'Sullivan makes a break of 78, and it's now 7-0.
And you're beginning to feel pretty bad for Stuart Bingham out there, all the while whilst we're marvelling at Ronnie. And, you know, we were asking ourselves, who is the person who has suffered the most session whitewashes at the Crucible? You'll be amazed to know the answer is Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's actually suffered at whitewashes 3 times, and he's inflicted 3 before this one. Now, we don't know if he's going to be able to pull this off, but it's looking likely at the moment, Ken.
It is, but I mean, let's hope that Stuart Bingham gets off the mark, gets this frame, salvages something, because the last thing you'd want to see is a whitewash in the quarter-final for Stuart Bingham. He just can't. It's like trying to, I said last night, it's like trying to hold on to a racehorse with your shoelaces. It's almost impossible. When he's in that free-flowing mood, it's just so hard. It's so difficult to play against. He's such a good front runner, and you know, he senses blood almost, doesn't he? He never lets up when he's ahead, and that's, you know, they always say that when you're behind you never give up, but when you're ahead you never let up, and that's exactly what Ronnie O'Sullivan is doing now.
Well, Steve Davis never let up, Ken, because you hold the record for the most session whitewashes inflicted at 6. What did it feel like when you were doing it?
It's the best feeling in the world to absolutely dominate on the snooker table, as if the other guy isn't even there, is a superb feeling. But we've also experienced the opposite, and actually Ken and I now, even if it was a quarter-final place or like second round, we wouldn't want to swap places with Stuart Bingham and have to sort of go through what he's gone through today. He's got to turn up for the last frame of the session, maybe a little less pressure on that, but really he just wants to get out of there, and even like chalking his cue becomes hard.
Yeah, quite. Well, he's broken off, and we'll head back there.
Yeah, thank you, Hazel. He's broken off, and not the best one either. Hit the pack thick, brought a red up the table, and there's a cut in the centre. There we go. Hits it far too thick. Doesn't get the cue ball down into the balk area, and this is definitely potable.
he's snookered. That is not fair. Going back to what Steve was mentioning earlier on, John, when he said that what if Ronnie takes the year off again on this form? I bet the other players are hoping he does.
Well, already in this frame, he's missed 2 shots, and in the entire frame since the interval, he's only missed 1. Now then, that's a mistake. Opening red for Stuart, but huge pressure on him just to get that first frame on the board.
Well, he's taking the bull by the horns there. That was a great shot to play there. He's putting this long ball to try and cannon the cue ball into the pack to open the reds everywhere. But nothing's going right for him today. Does he take the yellow one?
Yeah. Yellow ball. Stuart Bingham 1.
Another example coming up of how you can have pressure applied to you with the safety shots, because if he plays off the left hand side of the pack here, he'll be moving a few reds around, so he's decided that he's going to, well, he thought he was going to take the pot on the loose red. Thought more of it, going to play across the face of this. Just enough, I think, got away with it with the yellow. Played a very attacking safety shot there. Stuck the red over the corner, tried to get up the cue ball up behind the green, didn't work out. Now, with a bit of luck, Stuart will be able to pop the blue over the middle here. It's very tight. And he can.
Six. Seven.
Problem here when he pots the pink in the centre. I think the pink's going to be tied up, and its one spot won't be potable, so as per usual for Stuart, there's always seems to be problems when he comes to the table.
Yeah, I think you also mentioned early on in commentary this afternoon that that's exactly what happens as well, though, isn't it? Your mind's in such a fuddle when you're getting on the end of a thumping that you start seeing problems that aren't there as well. Difficult to think clearly. You play the odd positional shot and then realise the ball's going to be tied up, and you just don't think clear.
$30. $14.
Good shot that, and well played. Hit the pink absolutely plumb there.
90.
Right in its face. Moved the reds out, cleared the spot. One red just below the pink to the right is a slight problem there because it's blocking the pocket for the pink. That they'd gone further down, it'd have been a little screw shot and all the path would have been open, so he's a couple of positional shots away from having these perfect. And he's a little short on the blue as well.
$25. $26.
Looks like he's come pretty straight on the blue again, which is a bit of a problem. Two reds on the right aren't good, so he'd have to screw this back a little bit and play for the loose red that's to the left of the pink. Slightly overscrewed that.
31.
Getting more awkward this break now.
Yeah, may even choose to play for the black here. Well, I did do, but
Stuart
everything
Bingham,
is difficult.
31.
If O'Sullivan's straight in this red, he'll have to play for the black. Don't know whether he can screw off the cushion for the pink into the left centre.
Well,
this will be some shot to get the cue ball out for the next red.
You're not joking. He's good, but this will have to be genius. Yep. Still a great pot in itself, just knocking those in down there. Made it look very easy, but couldn't bring the cue ball out. Red in the centre now. Yeah, these are tough.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
Only the pace kept this out. Good pot, Stuart. Well done. Good chance this now. Already got a 32-point lead. Well, three reds in the open, certainly. One in the balk area isn't too much of a problem, certainly for a right-handed player.
9.
So a good chance to get his first frame on the board here. And I'm sure when he does, the knowledgeable Crucible crowd We'll give him a real good round of applause. He's had to sit and watch a masterclass this afternoon.
40. Thanks. 15.
May choose to cannon the red off the right cushion here.
21.
Yeah, well played.
22.
Maybe knocked that red a little bit further up the table than he would have liked. Good shot this. Positive shot.
Yeah, what's awkward here, of course, is that yellow being where it is. Ordinarily, he'd pot this blue, a little bit of check side off the top cushion and back for that red that's in the balk on the left-hand cushion, but the yellow is in the way. So he's tried to come round the angles, but not really got position. 51 ahead,
27.
59 remaining. So just this red to get the first frame on the board. Got to take it on.
Stuart Bingham, 27.
Well, he didn't play it with any conviction at all, did he? Almost tried to hide the cue ball if he was missing it. Didn't go all out for the pot.
Yeah, Stuart won't be upset to see that red go near the side rail. Stick on it. It's in an awkward place to pot from anywhere, that one, so that won't be getting moved. Reminder there, 51 ahead, 59 remaining, so just the one red. He's taking this long one on here. Can he get closer with this one? Yes, he can. Great pot, Stuart Bingham.
1.
A round of applause there. Make sure you knock the black in now. Just checking the angle. 52 ahead. Knock this in. 59. Massive favourite. He's done well here, Stephen.
8.
Yeah, it's not been easy. It's not been. Frame's not been won in one visit, but he's held his concentration well, Stuart, to win this frame.
Stuart Bingham, 8.
Well, that really should be end of frame. Let's put the extension on. Referee Brendan Moore passes him the long rest. Just drop this in, Stuart, and you got your first frame on the board. And what has been a very difficult afternoon for you, but well done. Ronnie O'Sullivan has been absolutely superb in this opening session in the quarter-final. Very difficult to see anybody playing better than he's played today. And Stuart Bingham, well done to him for winning the final frame of the session. Nothing worse than being on the end of an 8-0 whitewash. But he's hung in there, won the final frame. And I'm sure there'll be a handshake here, and there is. And what a fantastic session of snooker that was. Ronnie O'Sullivan was in absolutely superb form. But well done to Stuart Bingham, who throws his cue up in the air in delight. He's won his first frame in this quarter-final, but it's O'Sullivan who leads 7 frames to 1.